A camera captures the moment, but not the whole story. Every plane crash in this video began with a chain of events, a warning, a failure, a decision, or a few seconds of pressure in the cockpit. Some aircraft were lost. Some crews fought the emergency and walked away. We are not here just to watch crashes. We are here to understand what happened, why it happened, and what each case can teach us about aviation. February 23, 2017, St. Barths. At Gustav III Airport, a Cessna 172 suffered a blown right main tire during landing after a previous missed approach. According to the video description, the aircraft touched down with excess speed and not enough crosswind correction. As the pilot applied heavy braking, the wheel locked up, and the right main tire failed. The aircraft came to a stop on the runway, and the airport was reportedly closed for about 45 minutes. August 17, 1999, Las Vegas, Nevada. A Beechcraft Hawker BH-125-600A made a gear-up emergency landing at McCarran International Airport. The problem began after takeoff from Salina, Kansas, when the crew felt a strong vibration and suspected a possible tire failure. In flight, both hydraulic low-flow warning lights came on, and later, the landing gear would not extend normally, even through the emergency system. After several failed attempts, the crew briefed the passengers and prepared for a belly landing. Just before touchdown, the engines and electrical system were shut down. The jet skidded along runway 19 left. Flames appeared on the right side, but all 8 people on board evacuated safely. August 12, 2013, Columbia, South Carolina. A Piper PA-24-250 Comanche made a gear-up landing at Jim Hamilton L.B. Owens Airport after the landing gear failed to deploy. The pilot was the only person on board. Before committing to the landing, he made several low passes so people on the ground could check the gear position. Once the problem was confirmed, he brought the aircraft down smoothly on its belly. The Comanche slid along the runway and came to a stop near the pavement. The pilot was not injured, and the landing showed a calm, controlled response to a serious gear malfunction.
He landed pretty smooth. I don't know, man. I'm about to kill you, man. Boy, I ain't lying. I land pretty good. Huh? Oh, I don't know. There's a tall camel lady. She's a little too tall for the camera. She laughing. She's a tall camel lady.
May 27, 2017, Yeovilton, United Kingdom. The last remaining airworthy de Havilland Sea Vixen, known as Foxy Lady, made an emergency belly landing at Royal Naval Air Station Yeovilton. The aircraft was returning from the Duxford Air Show when a hydraulic problem prevented the undercarriage from lowering. As the jet touched down, the pilot jettisoned the canopy, giving himself a faster escape route if it became necessary. The Sea Vixen then slid along the runway under control, while emergency vehicles followed close behind. The pilot was uninjured and walked away after the aircraft came to a stop.
Oh, the pilot's out. That's good.
And HMS Ark Royal in various roles before becoming a
July 31st, 2014, Cornwall, United Kingdom. At Royal Naval Air Station Culdrose, a Royal Navy historic flight Hawker Sea Fury T Mark 20 suffered an engine problem during an air display. The pilot noticed strong engine vibration and a loss of thrust. Smoke was coming from the aircraft as he turned back toward the runway. He managed to touch down, but on landing, the gear collapsed, and the Sea Fury veered off the runway onto the grass. The aircraft stopped about 1,500 feet from the first touchdown point. The pilot left the aircraft unaided and was not injured.
Okay, there was a serious issue with the aircraft. Very well done, Chris Godker. Magnificent handling. Superb stuff indeed. Very well done. Thank you so much for your appreciation there, and delight that Chris is safely back on the ground. But a real tragedy. It's a magnificent warbird, and I suspect we will probably have to pause for a moment whilst we recover Chris from the runway. The technicians that have put many hours into keeping this venerable beast in the air. Clearly precautionary activity being undertaken now by the fire service just to ensure that there's no further damage or danger to anybody on the airfield. And we'll just pause for a few moments now while we just reset.
October 23rd, 2014, Mesa, Arizona. A North American P-51D Mustang made a gear-up landing at Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. After departing Stellar Air Park, pilot Jeffrey Pino noticed a burning smell and abnormal landing gear indications. A helicopter filming the aircraft confirmed that the right main gear was down, but the left main gear had not extended. After repeated troubleshooting attempts failed, Pino burned off fuel and prepared for a controlled belly landing. He brought the Mustang down in a full stall gear-up landing on runway 30 right. He was not injured, and the aircraft sustained only minor damage.
Good job.
May 28, 2011, Atlanta, Georgia. Delta Airlines Flight 2284, an MD-88 arriving from Pittsburgh, caught fire during landing at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Officials reported that the aircraft may have suffered a blown tire, a locked brake, or both during the landing roll. Fire crews responded quickly as passengers were evacuated from the aircraft. 4 people were treated for minor injuries, but no one required hospitalization. The aircraft came to a stop safely, and the fire was extinguished on the runway. February 3, 2026, Napier, New Zealand. An Air Hawke's Bay Cessna 152 made a controlled emergency landing at Hawke's Bay Airport after its nose landing gear was damaged during a flight training exercise. Early reports said the aircraft had a heavy landing on its nose wheel, bounced back into the air, and went around. After staying airborne for several minutes, the instructor and student returned to the airport. During the final landing, the nose wheel collapsed, and the aircraft came to a stop with its nose scraping the runway. Both people on board were uninjured. March 29, 2018, Pembroke Pines, Florida. A Piper Arrow made an emergency landing at North Perry Airport after the crew realized the landing gear would not stay down normally. The aircraft circled the airport for about 45 minutes while the instructor and student worked through the emergency procedures and coordinated with the tower. After 2 earlier attempts, the aircraft touched down on runway 10 left, with the nose gear only partially extended. The nose gear collapsed on landing, and the propeller struck the runway. The airplane came to a stop, and both people on board were unharmed. October 29, 2023, Highgate, Vermont. A Piper PA-39-160 twin Comanche was damaged during landing at Franklin County State Airport. During the landing rollout, the pilot intended to retract the flaps, but accidentally selected the landing gear handle instead. All 3 landing gear assemblies retracted while the aircraft was still moving at relatively high speed. The airplane settled onto its lower fuselage and sustained substantial damage. The pilot and 3 passengers were not injured. Investigators found no pre-impact mechanical malfunction.
Oh my God.
October 1, 2017, Melbourne, Australia. A Beechcraft B-200 King Air made an emergency landing at Melbourne Essendon Airport after the left main landing gear failed to fully extend. The pilot completed the non-normal checklist and continued the approach. But on touchdown, the left main gear collapsed. The aircraft remained on the runway, but sustained substantial damage. All 5 people on board survived. A later engineering inspection found a failed landing gear actuator bearing. September 7th, 2025, St. Martin. A WestJet Boeing 737-800 arriving from Toronto suffered a right main landing gear collapse while landing at Princess Juliana International Airport. The aircraft came down on runway 10. The right engine nacelle contacted the runway, and the plane slid to a stop. Emergency crews responded quickly as passengers and crew evacuated through the emergency slides. Early reports described it as a hard landing, but investigators later said the flight data did not show a hard landing event. Everyone survived, with one minor injury reported during the evacuation. August 4th, 2023, East Sound, Washington. A Beechcraft Bonanza experienced a landing gear collapse while landing at Orcas Island Airport. Airport camera footage shows the aircraft sliding along the runway after the gear gave way during the landing roll. The airplane continued down the runway before finally coming to a stop. 2 people were seen exiting the aircraft, and no injuries were reported in the footage. The exact cause of the gear collapse could not be confirmed from an official public report. July 20th, 2002, Fairford, United Kingdom. An Italian Air Force Air Italia G222 suffered a nose landing gear collapse during the Royal International Air Tattoo at RAF Fairford. The aircraft was demonstrating a steep approach when it touched down hard and bounced along the runway. During the landing sequence, the nose gear collapsed, and the aircraft slid forward on its nose. A small fire broke out under the forward fuselage as emergency crews rushed toward the aircraft. The fire was quickly extinguished, and no injuries were reported.
Hit seconds for touchdown. Touchdown now.
Oh dear.
Well, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the